okay? I'm sorry. So we're gonna be recording this. That way, after the workshop, we're gonna send all these videos back to you folks. So that way you can use it in the future if you wanna review how to make lei in the future, okay? So hopefully that's okay with everyone that we're recording this and it's for all of you folks in the future. Okay, so with that, I'm gonna hand it over to Kim.
And I am going to share my screen.
And I'll spotlight you. There we go.
Okay. And I am going to talk about Ohia. The first thing I want to let everybody know is you've met Amber and Hoku and myself, but there's a whole team of people working to save Ohia in our native forests. Ohia is our most abundant tree across the state. It is endemic to Hawaii, meaning found here and nowhere else in the world. And there's a whole lot of people both in the state and beyond, both with non-governmental agencies and nonprofits, all working together to save Ohia. So a little bit about Ohia. Like I mentioned, Ohia is the most abundant tree in our native forest. It is endemic to Hawaii. Endemic means found here and nowhere else in the whole wide world. The reason why it is so abundant is because it's a very adaptable tree. It can grow as a shrub. It can grow as a tall, 100-foot tall canopy tree in the forest. It's one of the first plants to start growing as a fresh lava after a fresh lava flow. And so it gets the forest started and then it stays with the forest and becomes what we call a pioneer species. It can grow at all elevations pretty much across the islands from sea level all the way up to 9,000 feet of elevation. And it is the dominant tree in our wet forests across the islands. I like to talk about Ohia and its importance to our everyday life in 3 ways. Number one, it serves as a water collector, and it also provides shelter and food for other flora and fauna. As well, the third leg is that Ohia has a really strong cultural ties to our host culture here in Hawaii. This photo gives you an idea, a quick idea of how Ohia serves as a water collector. The word Ohia, the first ohi, can be defined as to gather or to collect. And so as you can see in a rainforest situation, Ohia helps pull moisture from the air. It also, in a healthy Ohia forest, has a canopy, an understory, ground cover, there's ferns, there's lichen, there's mosses, there's just a whole lot of plant biodiversity in a healthy Ohia forest. And that serves as a sponge. So it draws the moisture from the air and holds it in place. So a healthy Ohia forest can also help prevent erosion and help keep our rivers and streams and oceans clean. I also mentioned Ohia serves as a keystone species. And by keystone species, we mean that there are a whole lot of other flora and fauna, plants and animals that rely on Ohia for some form of their life history requirements. That's everything from like butterflies and dragonflies and crickets and spiders and snails to birds. We oftentimes associate our forests with our native forest birds, but our Ohia forest also provides nesting habitat for some of our most endangered seabirds across Hawaii. So if we were to lose Ohia in our forest, we would potentially lose other species as well. The third leg of the importance of Ohia that I mentioned was its relationship with our host culture. So Ohia is celebrated in Hawaii in Olelo, Oli, Mele, so in story, in song, in chant. The wood from Ohia trees was used to make hale, va'a, and kapa. So that would be houses, canoes, poi, so food to eat, and kapa, which is the traditional bark cloth. The wood was also used in ceremonial structures, so to carve figurines or ki'i. And of course, Ohia is much celebrated and therefore very much associated with hula and in lei making, like we're talking about today. One of the other interesting uses of the term Ohia lehua, particularly focused on the word lehua, is that it was oftentimes associated with those strong, brave first warriors into battle, which I think reflects the tree so nicely because it is a hardwood and it is one of the first trees to brave a barren landscape of a lava field and somehow survive and start growing and create a forest. So we like to think, Amber, Hoku, and I, that Ohia is something very special. And that is why when this threat known as rapid Ohia death became apparent, it got everybody's attention and everybody was very concerned. And this is an example of what we would call a suspect rod tree. Looking out of a helicopter, you see fine branching and or red-brown leaves that have recently died. So also the disease, for many of you from Hawaii Island probably are aware, it was first detected as attacking Ohia trees on Hawaii Island. And this is a photo that was taken of a healthy Ohia forest pre the discovery of rod. And then this is a drastic example of 10 years later what that same forest looked like. So I'm just going to warn everybody, it's pretty dramatic, but this is what it looks like today. Unfortunately, this particular forest has been pretty well devastated, but I also want to say not all forests that have rod have been impacted to this degree. We see a range of impact across the different forests, and a lot of it has to do with the amount of biodiversity in that forest, and it can have to do with elevation and climate. So if it's warm and moist, or if it's at a higher elevation where it's cool and drier. So the impact ranges. It won't all look like this, but sadly, this is the potential. But what is it? What is rapid Ohia death? Well, it's a fungus basically, but it's a tricky fungus because it's not one that grows on leaves or flowers or seeds. It doesn't grow on the exterior of the tree in any way, not even on the bark. It actually grows inside the tree in what's known as the vascular system, which is kind of what I like to refer to as the plumbing system of the tree. That's where the water flows up and down. And basically what happens is the fungus grows there, clogs the flow of water, so it chokes the leaves of its hydration. And this is basically what I was just saying. Yeah, it enters through wounds. So the pathology, what we call the pathology of the fungus, the only way a tree can get infected is through a wound. And by a wound, I mean a branch that has broken off in the wind, or perhaps one we've trimmed off, or scuffed up roots when we go hiking, and or other animals might be in the forest that scuff up roots or peel away at the bark. All of those things can create wounds. So that's why we want to keep our trees healthy, is to not wound them. This is an example of a tree that's died of rot on the right side, a tree that looks super healthy on the left side. And in fact, it may stay healthy and never get the disease as long as it's not wounded. But as well, a tree can be infected and not show the symptoms yet. But once the symptoms of the reddish brown leaves do appear, then it's a matter of weeks potentially before the tree will die. Unfortunately, at this point in time, there is no known cure. But how does it spread? This is where we can come in and help save Ohia. It can spread through beetles, through human transference, and through natural transference, such as the wind, which makes it a super tricky disease to prevent its movement. But to wrap up, how can we help Ohia? How can we save Ohia? As I mentioned, number one, avoid injuring Ohia. So pruning, breaking off branches when you're in the forest, scuffing up roots if you're hiking. As well, don't move Ohia. The wood of a tree that's even died can still have a live fungal pathogen in it. So don't move Ohia, the dead wood, or even parts of live trees around the island, or even its soil, because the pathogen can move around the island in soil. And then don't transport Ohia inter-island. So like wood from Hawaii Island to Kauai or any other island. And we also recommend that you clean gear and tools, including shoes and clothes, before and after you enter the forest. So leave the mud where you found it is what I like to say, which is super tricky to do. So that's why before and after you go into the forest, scrub down your gear, make sure there's no mud still on it. And lastly, wash your vehicles. So mud, like I said, is tricky to leave where you found it, but mud can move the disease around. So again, before and after you enter the forest, hose down your truck and try to get all those nooks and crannies where your vehicle might have gotten some mud. So with that, I am going to stop sharing. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them into the chat. And
with that, Kim, I'm sorry, could you pull that screen back up? I was just going to talk about the alternatives and show them those photos of the alternatives.
Yeah, I can. It seems like you've answered the questions in chat, so I don't need to go back to those. Yes,
sure.
Thank you. Let me go back to share screen and we'll talk about some alternatives to using Ohia in your lei making. Go ahead, Amber.
Awesome. So as you know, the title of this workshop is called Ohia Free Lei Making. And the reason why we choose to be Ohia free is because of this disease and what it's been doing. And like Kim mentioned, it's killed numerous trees. I mean, over 1 million trees so far across the state. And there is no known cure for this. Although we're not finding the disease in the leaves and the flowers and the buds and the seeds, it doesn't mean that picking them still, any sort of wound from picking or wind damage or ungulate damage can lend this tree to be susceptible to the disease. And so we're not telling people as lei makers, lei is an art. We're not telling people that you cannot use Ohia in your lei. That is not what we're saying. We are just saying that if you choose to use Ohia, we are asking that you please just pick the top, 3 to 4 inches at the top and sanitize all your things and do all those 5 steps as you're going throughout the forest. So what we're trying to do is utilize alternatives to Ohia because there are so many beautiful plants out there that you can use, whether it's from your backyard or from the forest or from anywhere that you go and you pick and harvest from. So in this photograph here, you can see this is actual artificial, these are just little strings. These are artificial flowers that somebody has utilized in their lei to embolize the Ohia flower to get that redness, right? And then if you go to the next screen, you can see in this parade that they had, normally it would be full of red Ohia. This is taking place in Hilo where there's tons of Ohia, but because of this disease, this parade, they have chosen not to utilize Ohia, and you can see that they use proteas and anthuriums and bottle brush and other type of red material and red tea leaf to get that red vibrant color. So there's so many alternatives if you want that red fullness. This is one of my favorite pictures. This is of a native tree called A'ali'i, and you can see all of the red in there. That's the seed capsules when they're on the tree. And so when you harvest at different times of the year, you can get this vibrant color of red to put in lei. And there is no Ohia in here, but you still get that vibrant color of the lei. And so the last one was just an up close picture of the bottle brush. This is something that's fairly common. You find them everywhere in landscaping and people's yards. This is something that you can utilize that's very similar to Ohia or looks similar to Ohia. And that way you can utilize different types of materials. And so that's kind of a little bit about why we choose to be Ohia free. So with that, I was just going to start our lei making portion. So hopefully everybody is all ready to go with their prepped materials, and you folks have watched the videos and prepped as we are going along, and you guys are ready with all your little pieces. So Kim, do you mind maybe spotlighting my hands really quickly? I'm going to just show folks a little bit of what I have on this platter. So how we like to do it is we kind of get a little tray of some sort and put all of our plants in little piles on the tray to kind of keep some sort of sanity in all of this madness. But today I have some loae that I cut into pieces. Smells really, really good. So I have some loae. I have some akia, which is a native shrub as well. And it's perfect timing because it's blooming with these tiny little yellow flowers. And so this one's a little bit woody in tissue. And so I have that. I also have some kupu kupu, which is another type of native fern that we have. And I prepped it and I, have all these prepped it into this perfect little place. And then instead of ohia for redness, I found this tree at UH that I don't know if anyone has ever made a lei out of, but I'm going to attempt to make a lei out of this one. It's a bird's eye tree or something along those lines. So it's pretty cool. It's got little seeds in there. So with that, before we get started in the chat box, I wanted to see if you folks can list what type of materials you have, whether it's just ferns and ohia or not ohia, or if it's acacia, tea leaf. If you guys can put in there, we'll practice our chat before we get started, what type of materials you folks have in there, if anyone knows. Okay, if you didn't have anything, it's okay. Maybe some people might even be using non-plant materials like fabric or ribbon or anything along those lines. Does anybody have anything to add in there on what you folks are utilizing? Kupu kupu, yes. Oh, Tani, awesome. Yep, Song of India, red tea leaf. Lilia, you got tea and crown flower. Yes, the crown flowers are going off right now. They're beautiful. And green tea leaf. Some kupu kupu. Oh, rabbit's foot fern, bougainvillea. Yes, bougainvilleas are beautiful to use in lei. They have vibrant colors. Silk oak, plumeria, nice. Oh, wow, cherry stephanotis. Nice. Hina. Yes, hina. I should get, I'll be right back. I'm going to get the hina so I can show you how to put hina in there. I wasn't going to use hina, but I will show somebody how to put it in there. So let me just put that on my platter over here. Okay, perfect. So now what we're going to do is we're going to gather 3 long pieces. And by long pieces of your wrapping cord, I have a raffia. So I am going to grab 3 long pieces of my raffia. So we're not going to braid it or anything, but you do need 3. You do need 3 pieces, okay? So Kim, would you, oh, got it? Would you mind just quickly spotlighting this part so I can hold it up? So what you want to do is you want to line up all your 3 pieces of raffia. And for mine, if I hold out my hands, it's the full length of my arm span. So that's how long my raffia is. And that's just store-bought. I didn't make it longer or anything. So if you're using raffia, so grab 3 pieces, line it up at the top and give yourself about 6 to 8 inches of length and tie a knot. Okay. So here's my piece, my 6 to 8 inches that I left off, and I tied a knot. Okay, so tie a knot, and that's going to be your starting point of your knot. Okay. So with that, what you want to do now is you want to find your longest of your 3 pieces. If they're all the same length, that's okay. Just choose one of them. But if you have raffia like I do, I have one piece that's longer than the rest, and that's going to be my wrapping cord. Okay, so you're going to get one of your longest piece is going to be your wrapping cord, and then your other 2 pieces will serve as your backbone. Your other 2 pieces will serve as your backbone, okay? So what's gonna happen is you're going to wrap with your 3rd piece, and you're gonna wrap your plant material to these other 2 pieces. So the other 2 loose pieces that I said is gonna be your backbone, just pretend like it's one big piece, okay? So you're gonna kind of merge them together as you're going down and forming your lei. Okay.
And just to clarify, Amber, right? When you're talking about your backbone, so those 2 strands that become the backbone, they never wrap. You only have the one that's wrapping, correct?
Correct, yes. So the backbones are going to be just a solid piece that you're going to you're going to adhere your plant material or your materials to. And you're going to, that third piece, that's the wrapping piece, that's what's going to wrap your plant material around the backbone. Okay. So as we go along, hopefully that'll make a little bit more sense. So what you want to do before you get started is you want to kind of think of a pattern in your head on how you want to make your lei. So for example, I like to generally start off with the greens or the fillers, like the greens or the hina, things like that as the fillers, because generally I don't have that many flowers. The flowers is kind of the least amount of material that I have. So whether you have tea leaf or kupu or some sort of fern, that you probably have more of that than you do of your flowers. And so I like to start off with the greenery, okay? So how I get started is I'm gonna start off with some loae. So I'm gonna gather 2 pieces, and this is how I make lei, okay? So everybody makes lei differently. You're gonna learn many different styles over your lifetime, and everyone makes the same style differently from person to person because like I mentioned, lei is an art, right? So it's all in the eye of the beholder. So for me, if Kim, would you mind spotlighting my hands camera now? We're gonna spotlight my hands for you folks. So there we go. So hopefully my hands is bigger on the screen now. So what I'm gonna do, if you have loae or tea leaf or something that's not a flat, that's a flat blade, what you're gonna do is before you put it in your leis, you're gonna roll it. So there's always a shiny side and a dull side, or the top side and the bottom side. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna roll your tea leaf or your loae, or any leaf that you have, you're gonna roll it like this. So you're gonna kind of roll one side and then roll the other side. And that's gonna form a little, kind of like a little pointed edge. And I'm gonna put one facing one way, and I'm gonna take the second leaf and I'm gonna roll and roll. And I'm gonna place one the other way. So my lei is gonna start forming with these 2 pieces here, okay? So what you're gonna do with that third string, right? That wrapper string that I mentioned, that long wrapper string, is you're gonna, and I'm starting right at the knot, okay? Like I mentioned, that's gonna be your starting point. You're gonna put your plant material up to that knot. With the third wrapper string, you're gonna come from behind, you're gonna wrap towards the front, and you're gonna wrap back. And you're gonna cinch it tight, tight, but not too tight, because you're gonna wrap one more time. So we're gonna do a double wrap, okay? So you're gonna go from the back, so I'm cinching it tight, but not super tight. And I'm gonna go from the back, wrap to the front, and to the back again, and cinch it tight on the second, really tight on the second wrap. So each thing that we put into our lei, we're gonna do a double wrap. Okay, so you're gonna do the same thing. So all you're doing is just taking it from the back to the front and to the back. And granted, I'm right-handed, so this is how I do it being right-handed. Kim does it a little differently because she's left-handed. So that might make a little difference. Whatever way you're gonna wrap, just keep that same direction the whole lei. Okay, so don't start wrapping the other direction because it's gonna unravel your wrap, okay? So I'm going from the back over the front and to the back again. So I'm gonna continue that same wrap. Okay, so next I'm gonna put in, I wanna put in 2 more greens. I'm gonna put in a kupu. So I'm gonna put in my kupu here, facing the same direction as I just did, and facing the 2 directions like a V. And I'm gonna wrap from the front, from the back to the front, wrap around, wrap to the back, cinch tight, and then wrap again for the second one. So wrap from the back to the front and to the back again, and cinch tight. Did you pinch the pieces at the bottom or in the middle? Did you pinch the pieces at the bottom or in the middle?
I think she's probably tea leaf, you know.
Oh, yeah, the tea, if you, yeah, and the tea leaf, Hoku, I'm not sure if that's what you're talking about. Like, so say for example, if the tea leaf or the or the loae or whatever fern you're using or leaf you're using, if you're wrapping it like this, yeah, you're gonna pinch kind of like right in the middle, like that. So as you're going along, don't worry, because as you're going along, you're going to have, from where your raffia is, where my hand is, there's going to be some excess facing downwards. There's going to be some excess. So don't worry about cutting that off, because you're going to actually be wrapping over all that material. Okay. So next, I'm going to try that one more time. Okay. I'm going to try with the Ohia. So I'm going to put in a piece of Ohia in mine. I'm going to wrap from the back to the front, to the back again, cinch tight, from the back to the front, to the back again, cinch tight on the second one. Okay. So as you're going along, you're going to be wrapping over the last piece, as well as wrapping down the backbone as well. Okay. So I'm going to keep going, and in a little bit, I'm going to flip it over to show you what I'm talking about and how that's looking, because it's a little hard to tell with just a little bit here. So I'm going to put in, now I'm going to put in some flowers. I'm going to put in my red flowers. So I got a little cluster of 3. I'm going to wrap from the back to the front, to the back again, cinch tight, from the back to the front, to the back again, cinch tight on the second one. Yes, you can use ribbon, Ivy. I've used ribbon and I've cut them into little pieces, into little triangles, or squares, and you can fold it as well. But if you cut them to triangles, at least they have nice pointed edges like a leaf or like a fern. So that's what I suggest with the ribbon.
She might be asking too about whether you can use ribbon as instead of raffia. So
yes,
either way, right?
Either way, yes. Either way, Ivy, you can use it as the wrapping cord. You can use ribbon as the wrapping cord if you want to do a really pretty one. You know, you can use it as a wrapping cord, or you can also use it in the lei as well. You just would cut it to make it look like a leaf, and then you can put it into the lei. So like during some seasons, some lei, I will do that too, like put ribbon in it. Okay, so let me know as we keep going. I'm going to continue going down this, and we're going to keep going through this whole day until we get to the end, guys. So let me know if you guys have any questions, okay? Or if you have a trouble with how to put any type of material in your lei.
We do. Get room for us.
Mr. P, do you have a question? Mr. P, do you have a question, or are you? No.
Oh no, I thought I was on mute because it says mute. The mic says mute.
Okay, I'll mute you then. Okay. Thank you. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to go again, and I'm going to insert the same pattern. So I'm done with my pattern. I had 2 leaves, an Ohia, and a flower, and I'm going to continue that pattern. So again, with the tea leaf or the loae, you have a front piece and a front side and a back side. Flip it over to the back side and roll the 2 edges in towards each other, like so, until you have a piece that's like a triangle. So I'm gonna do that one more time so you can see it. There's a front and a back. Roll the back side over like this onto your piece, like that, okay? And you wrap from the back to the front, to the back again, cinch tight, from the back to the front, to the back again, cinch tight. Okay, I'm gonna do that one more time. I'm gonna put my kupu in like that. I'm gonna go from the back to the front, to the back again, cinch tight. From the back to the front, to the back again, cinch tight. So I'm gonna flip it over so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about as I'm wrapping over myself, as well as going down the backbone. This is what the back of the lei should look like. Okay, you're wrapping tightly And as you're going down the lei, you're going to be wrapping more and more down and keep wrapping as you're going along, okay? If your hands are getting tight, so how tight do you want to hold this piece, right? How tight do you want to be holding it with your, I'm right-handed, so I'm wrapping with my right hand, but I'm holding with my left hand. Your hand is going to start to cramp. Your holding hand is going to start to cramp over time, okay? So if it's cramping, that's a good sign. That means you're holding it tight enough, okay? And if that's how tight you want to hold it, is to where your hands are going to start to cramp, okay? Because you want it to stay tight in order to keep it together. Because if it's not tight, once you put it on your head or something, it's going to fall all apart. So you want to keep it tight. Okay, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to put my Ohia in here. And I'm going to wrap from the back to the front, to the back again, cinch tight, from the back to the front, to the back again, cinch tight. Okay, next I'm going to put in my flowers. From the wrap from the back to the front, to the back again, cinch tight, from the back to the front, and back again, cinch really tight on the second wrap. Okay. So I'm gonna keep going. I know everyone's hands are full right now, so if you do have any questions and you don't have a clip to clip it off, so here, I'm gonna pretend like my hands are cramped. If you do have a clip and you want to ask the question or you wanna give your hands a rest, just take that clip and just clip it right on top of your lei to hold it tight. Okay, then you can go take a bathroom break, then you can type in your question in the chat box or anything like that. Okay, so that's what you're going to use the clip for if you want to use the clip. I'm going to keep going. So if you have any questions and your hands are full, which they should be, just you can press unmute right now if you prefer to press unmute instead of the chat box. You can press unmute and ask your question. I know it's pretty difficult to learn how to do things online. I totally understand that because I don't know if I would catch it the first time around online. So please let us know if you're getting it or not getting it, or if you have any questions, or if it's falling apart, or if you don't know how to put a certain type of material in there. After the workshop, we're going to do a quick survey. And then we're going to talk about care tips on how to care for your lei and how long it'll last and where to store it and all that sort of stuff. And then we're going to do a quick survey. We're going to take pictures and we're going to do a quick survey. And then
Amber,
yes.
Just interjecting here.
Yes.
So what I would also suggest for those people who maybe aren't quite getting it and aren't, quite sure what's happening, is this first time around, just watch. Don't necessarily try. Watch, and then when you get the video later, you can go back and try and make your lei again. And that way you can pause the video, you can rewind the video, so sometimes it's good just to watch and observe and then try later again. Yes,
Thank you, Kim, for that.
sure.
So Lilia, you want to add in Pele's hair or Hina, right? Okay, so I'm going to add it in, but I'm going to take it right back out because that's not part of what I'm going to put in my lei. But so what you want to do is you want to gather a pretty good amount. Maybe like a quarter size here. I don't know if you can kind of see a quarter size of Pele's hair. So just take a few sprigs and you're going to kind of bundle it together. You're going to kind of bundle it together in like a little nest, sort of like a little nest like this. And what you're going to do, like if you can see my hands here, so I have it bundled up in a nest, and you're going to just add it straight in like it's a piece of fern or something. So you're going to put it right in here. So you can, I don't know if you can see where my hands are. It's what it kind of looks like up close. And then you're just going to wrap. So you're just going to wrap it around and you're going to wrap it in the lei. So you're gonna wrap and you're gonna wrap. Okay, extending the wrapping cord. Okay, perfect. So people are now at the wrapping cord. Okay, so I'm gonna cut my piece, my wrapping cord really quick, just to pretend that I'm running out of cord. Okay, so don't cut yours if I'm cutting it for an example, but don't cut yours. Okay. I'm gonna show you how to add in a wrapping cord. So, oh no, look at mine, it's all the way at the end. I don't have any more wrapping cord. What am I gonna do? Yes, that could be very anxiety filling, but don't worry, we have a solution for you. Okay, so how I'm going to teach you is one way. If you don't get this way, don't get discouraged. We're going to keep going and keep adding in more wrapping cords as we go along. So I'm going to keep doing it as we go along. Okay, so what you're going to do with this short wrapping cord that you have left is you're going to bring it towards the front, put it under your thumb, right? Put it under your thumb like you're holding it, and you're going to bring it down to face your backbone. So your backbone is those two pieces, right? Those two cords that you're pretending are one big cord. So you're going to bring it around, bring it under your thumb and hold it there and just bend it back towards your backbone. So we're going to have it kind of merging with your other two. Grab a string or raffia or whatever your new wrapping cord. So I got a piece of raffia. I got a new piece of raffia. And what you're going to do is you're going to face that raffia, the new piece, and you're going to match it with that piece that you just merged down. This little short tail that we merged down. You're going to grab your new piece and you're going to put it under your thumb as well. And it's going to merge just like this. It's going to merge down into the backbone. And what you're going to do while you're holding your thumb there is you're going to wrap up, you're going to wrap back around your piece, just like you're wrapping a piece of material in it. So you're going to wrap 2 to 3 times. Okay, so you're going to wrap around. And when you're wrapping around, when you're merging this piece, make sure you are wrapping your cord over the merge. Okay, so I wrap 3 times because the merges can, if there's anything that's going to come loose in your lei, it's going to be these merging parts if you don't merge it correctly. Okay, so I'm going to wrap and I'm going to wrap one more time just to solidify that. And so I don't know if you can see what it looks like now, but I'm holding it forward. So you're going to have the 2 wrapping strings, the 2 short ones, they're going to be facing down. So don't worry, because you're going to wrap over those anyway. And it's facing your backbone and it's just merging with your backbone like this. Okay. And now you have a whole brand new wrapping cord to use. So when people, because someone already had that question, I know that more people will have that question. Okay, so please let me know as we go along, because I can cut my string again and re-show you folks. Okay, I don't expect you to know it the first time around, because that's not the easiest thing to, it's not the easiest thing to get, and it's not the easiest thing to explain either when I can't show you in person. Okay, so I just merged my cord and now I'm going to continue with my pattern. Okay, so I have my greens like I was doing. And I'm sorry, I'm not further ahead. I'm trying to talk and show you and all that stuff. I would normally be a little bit further ahead, but that's okay. So if you're slow like me, it's all good. We're here together. If you're fast, I see some people are already like way faster than me. Go for it. That's awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna just wrap from the front to the back and keep that same wrap. So when someone else has that question of the wrapping cord on how to wrap, let me know, put it in either unmute or put it in the chat box, and I'll do that one, and I'll do it again to show you guys how to merge that wrap again. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going until I get that question again, and then I'll redo it again. So I'm gonna just keep doing my pattern. From the back to the front and to the back again. From the back to the front and to the back again. Right, and then here's the back side of my lei. And this is how it's looking. So the back side should be looking like that, where you're going over each other, but down the lei itself. Okay, so now I'm back to putting my flowers in there. Wrap from the back to the front to the back again. From the back to the front to the back again. So is there anything that you folks are using that you still have questions on how to put in? Like someone wanted to know how to put in the hina hina or the Pele's hair. Let me know if there's something that you're using that you don't know how to put in, or that's not really working out for you. We can definitely talk you through this. Okay, so I'm going to continue going with that same wrapping pattern from the back to the front to the back again. Cinch tight, then a double wrap from the back to the front to the back again, cinch tighter. So I just want to say, I think you guys are doing a superb job. I'm taking it as you guys are getting it and you guys are determined, and oh, okay, we have somebody that's looking to connect again. Okay, so give me 1 second. Let me just finish this wrap and I will do it one more time. Okay, front to the back to the front again. Okay, so I'm going to cut my string just so I can show you one more time how that works. So don't cut your string though, but let me cut mine so I can show you guys. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your ending string, your wrapping cord. I'll answer your question in just a little bit, but let me get through this part and then I'll answer that question that's in the chat box. So with this wrapping cord, what you're going to do is you're going to place it under you're going to bring it to the front and place it under your thumb. Wherever you're holding your thumb, you're going to place it under your thumb and you're going to kind of bend it downwards to match your backbone. Okay, so don't worry about the strings that are coming out from your backbone. You're going to be wrapping over that, and at the end you can cut them to keep them from getting in your hair later. But for now, just keep it down. So you're going to take that piece, put it under your thumb, and bring it down to merge with your backbone. Get your brand new wrapping cord, whether it's raffia, string, shoelaces, ribbon, whatever it is. And you're going to get your piece. So this is the end of my piece. And you're going to match it just with that piece that you just bent down. That piece that you just bent down to match your backbone. You're going to place it downwards under your thumb, just as so. So both of those two end pieces are under your thumb, being held by your thumb right now. Then what you want to do is you're going to wrap up, wrap around, just like you're wrapping the string. So you're the same thing that you've been doing this whole time, from the back to the front to the back again. And you're going to wrap over that merge. Okay, so right where your thumb is, you're going to be wrapping over that merge and you're going to be sealing it in. Okay, so I like to wrap when I merge. I like to do a triple wrap. This is the only time in my lei that I do a triple wrap. I do 3 wraps just because I want to make sure that it's merged and it's tight and it's sealed in. So that's my second wrap, and I'm going to go down I'm gonna go down just a little bit just to wrap right over that merge. And now I have completely wrapped that merge right up into my lay. Okay, so now you're just gonna continue with your pattern. So now you have your brand new piece. You should have a brand new long piece that you just merged in there, and then you can continue with your pattern that way. Another way, if you're not getting how to merge the way that I'm doing it, you can also, I've seen it being done a different way. It's not as effective, but you can still do it. Where I've seen people just tie the end of their wrapping cord and just tie another piece to it just to make it longer. Sometimes the knots come loose and then your whole lay is going to fall apart. So I don't really recommend that style. This style is a little bit more solid, but it is a little bit more difficult, this style that I'm teaching on how to merge. It is a little more difficult than just tying the end to another end and making it longer that way. So you can do either way. I prefer this method of merging it in because it's a little more solid. But if you're not getting it and you want to, it's a little frustrating, I understand. You can also tie the ends together to another piece. So that's another method that I've used in the past. That works, but you have to be a little bit more diligent on making sure that knot is really tight if you're going to tie a knot to make it longer. So another question, what is the best way to keep it fresh for the longest? Okay, so perfect timing. I was going to talk about how to preserve your lay, but this is great timing on how to do it anyway. How to prolong your lay. What I would do is, that's why I had a water bottle, a spritzer, and I just spritz it. Like, I don't think you can really see the spritz right now, but I am spritzing my lay with a water bottle. You can either spritz it with a water bottle to moisten it, or you can just kind of not run it straight underwater, but kind of get a little bit of water in your hands and sprinkle it over the lay to kind of moisten it. Or you can get wet paper towel or wet napkin or cloth wrap or something and wet it and wrap your lay in that. I suggest putting it in some sort of bag, whether it's a reusable plastic bag or it's a grocery bag, some sort of bag where it can seal, or a Ziploc bag where it seals. And I would suggest keeping it in the refrigerator. Not necessarily near the back where sometimes it freezes, not that cold, but just right in the regular refrigerator. If not, if you're taking it somewhere, I would suggest putting it in a little cooler with an ice pack or something, but try to keep it cool and moist, not soaking wet, but moist. And then you can store it that way, and it'll store, depending on what materials you have in your lay, would depend on how long it can store. I have pretty sturdy ones, so this can store probably for a few days in the refrigerator if I don't touch it. So yeah, just putting that out there for the care tips. And I'll go through that one more time at the end when we're wrapping it up. But hopefully we're getting there and we're building our lay more and more. So I'm going to continue wrapping, and whenever someone else needs to merge or needs to get their wrapper cord merged again, and you want another example, just please let me know. I will do it again. So I'm going to keep continuing down my lay to keep building it up. So this is what mine is looking like so far. Hopefully your guys is coming along. Yes, Rena, yours is looking good. I see it. All right, guys. So I'm going to continue my pattern here. I almost lost my pattern there. Okay, from the back to the front. Oops. From the back to the front, cinch tight. And now I'm going to put in some hina. So if you want to watch again how I put the hina in, I just gather a little bundle, maybe the size of like a quarter or a little bit larger in size, and I nest it up as so, and just put it right in like I would be putting in a leaf or a flower. Then wrap from the back to the front. From the back to the front. So I'm gonna do again my leaf. I roll it every time. Roll my lowae. And if you haven't used lowae, it's a very common leaf. It's a very common fern, and it smells really nice. Like it has a scent similar to maile. So if you want something that's scented, try the lowae fern. They're very common, and I'm sorry I don't have a photo of it right in front of me, but if you ask around or if you know what it looks like, lowae is it grows everywhere, even in landscaping a lot. So you can find them pretty commonly, and they have a beautiful smell. So that's something you can add in your lei if you want smell. Yeah, we talked about if you want to add the red, you can add bottle brush, or like I'm doing today, I have this bird's eye plant that I'm using for the red color in my lei today. Anthuriums work well, proteas work well. We're teaching you a style that is biodegradable. So we're in this workshop, we don't teach you how to utilize things that need wiring or taping or things like that. You know, you can do those kinds of leis too, but this style that we're teaching with the biodegradable stuff, this is good for when you're ready to just at the end you can compost your lei if you're using all biodegradable materials, or you can give it back to the earth and put it somewhere, or a lot of these dry really nicely, so you can dry them as well. So you can do that. If you are using non-plant material, like say you're using ribbon and things like that, before you get rid of your lei, if you're not going to dry it and keep it, we suggest you take it apart and take all that material out of there before you compost it. Just we don't want that stuff in the composter, and you know, or going back to the land if you are going to offer it back to the land. So this is one way to do it, when you can do it, to just give it back to the land. I do leis different styles too that sometimes need wiring with different types of flowers and things like that. So those are not biodegradable, but today's workshop is. And hopefully if it's not, now you know how to treat it so you can get rid of it in the compost. Is there any other questions that you folks have, or is there any comments or anything that you'd like to use that you're not using? Or do we need to, let me let someone in. So.
Yeah, would you also show the adding?
The merging? Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
show the merging once more, please.
Okay, yes, let me cut this really quick. Okay, I'm gonna show how to merge one more time. So what you're gonna do with this, with your wrapping cord that's running out, you don't want it to run out on you. You wanna let it have at least a good, 3-4 inches. It doesn't have to be that long, but you need a little tail. So what you're gonna do with this tail that's ending is you're going to place it under your thumb, place your thumb over it, and you're going to bend it downwards to merge with your backbone, with those two pieces that are being wrapped over, those two long pieces from the beginning that are being wrapped over. You're going to merge that piece down. And so I have my thumb over it. And what you're going to do is you're going to get your new wrapping cord, your new raffia or string or jute or whatever you're using. And you're going to, this is the end of my string. And I'm going to place it downwards and face that last tail that just went down. Place it under my thumb. So now under my thumb, you have the old tail, and then you have the new tail. And all of it's facing downwards towards your backbone. And what you're going to do is you're going to go up above your thumb a little bit, and you're going to wrap. Just like you've been wrapping this whole time from the front to, from the back to the front to the back again, you're going to wrap. But this time you're going to do a triple wrap. And while you're wrapping, what you want to do is you want to make sure you are going over that merge, right where those two tails connect. You want to make sure you go right over that and cinch tight now. And I'm going to go for a third time right over that. And that way I made sure that I just merged that whole piece together. So this is what it looks like afterwards. You're going to have a little bit of strings, short strings coming out that's going to be matching your backbone. And that's okay about the short strings because you're going to just, you're going to be putting foliage over that, and it's going to be getting longer and longer. So don't worry about that. And that's how it's going to look. And then once you have your piece merged in your new wrapping cord, just continue wrapping with your same pattern that you had and just continue wrapping. As you're making your lei, don't worry if it starts to bend. So I don't know if you can see mine's how it's curving. It's naturally curving. It will do that because of the winding, the natural winding of the style. It will start to curve. So don't worry if it curves. It's not doing anything wrong. And even if it's not curving, it's not saying you're doing anything wrong either. Sometimes in the past, we definitely still seen some people have a little bit of problems with that. They thought they were doing something wrong, you know, because it's curving. Okay, so Lilia, says, please show adding cordage or how to end. Okay, Lydia, let's give it, before we end the piece, let's give it another 15 minutes for those people to keep, unless everyone feels like they are at a good point to end. I don't know how everyone is looking at ending, because I can end right now and this would be beautiful for my hair. And this is a coupe length, but I don't know how far along everybody is. Okay, I think we are about to, I can show how to end it. Is everybody looking like they're at a point to end this coupe? If you don't want to end it and you want to continue to make a longer piece, feel free to make a longer piece. Don't even worry about it. You can do that. We're just going
Amber,
to cut it off.
why don't we ask everybody at this point to hold up so we can see, hold
Yes.
up to your camera where you are so we can get an idea of how things are looking.
Yes, if everyone can hold it up.
Rena is jamming. She's got a
I know,
great
Rena's got a big one.
Florence.
Oh, wow, Terry. Wow.
And Rochelle, Terry. Oh my
Terry's
goodness.
almost done with
Yeah.
the whole le pole.
Gregory, Tawny. Tawny, hold up from the, so we can see the length about.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Yours is
Okay.
looking good. Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody, I think is
I think
well
we're
on their
about
way.
okay. I think we're at a point. Okay, that's great.
Nice, Roz.
I
That's
think
gorgeous.
we're at a point where
Nice,
we can
Helen.
probably
Easy.
end it, where we can end this
Yeah.
coupe. And so if you don't, so for one disclaimer, if you're gonna make it longer than this length, don't end it. Just hold on tight and just keep going until the end. But watch how to end it. It's pretty simple. So I'm gonna teach you guys how to end it now. Okay, so let me cut my cord a little bit shorter since I just added in a new one. So what you're gonna do, so this is the ending of my cord. What you're gonna do is you're going to make a little loop, and you're gonna go back under with the tail end. You're gonna make a loop and you're gonna go back under facing the other direction. So on one side you have a loop, and on one side you have the tail. Okay, does everyone got that so far? I'm gonna just demonstrate it one more time. So I'm at the end and I want to end this. I'm going to make a loop with my hand, go back underneath the lei, and have the tail come out the other end, just like that. Okay, and what you're going to do, the loop, you're not going to put anything through the loop. Okay, just pretend the loop is one string. Okay, so you're going to use that one string, the loop on one side as a string, and you're going to take the other side and you're just going to tie it. You're just going to tie it and you're going to double tie it, just to tie a knot at the end. Okay, so that's how you're going to seal it. I'm going to double knot it and make sure it's tightly double knotted. And now with this extra pieces on the bottom, feel free to cut them off if you want. Give yourself a good 6 to 8 inches of your backbone and cut it. So that way you have a piece that looks like this, that has a tail, like the endings, the ending of the tails is what's going to let you tie it to your hair or to your wrist or to your head or wherever you're going to put it. These are just little tying cords. Okay, so that's why you want to leave yourself a good amount, because sometimes it's not so easy to tie. So you want to leave yourself a good amount. I always leave myself about 8 inches or so, 6 to 8 inches on each side to cut it. And then you can put it in your hair, or you can put it on your wrist, on your ankle if you want, wherever. And if you're continuing to make your lei longer, if you want to make a full lei po'o for your whole head, just continue your pattern all the way till you get to that full length and then end it that way. Okay, so the same style is just gonna, whether you're doing it short like this or whether you're doing it long, just continue doing it if you're gonna do it longer. But this is how to at least do this length. So hopefully everybody got a chance to kind of make at least something small. I'm sure it looks like all of you have way more stuff to use, so feel free to make more lei after this, because that's what I'm going to be doing with all this extra stuff, is making more lei. So I'm gonna just continue this other lei that I've been making and make a full lei po'o. I might as well. I have all the foliage for it.
Amber,
Yes.
why don't we do our photo?
Yes.
No.
So we're gonna change. I'm gonna change the view so we can get all.
I'm gonna remove your spotlight.
Yes, we'll
and
remove the
put it
spotlight. So
down.
we want to get a photo of everybody's lei. So we want to hold it up to the screen. If everyone can hold it up to the screen. Oh, so beautiful, everyone. Oh my gosh, Florence, look at that purple and the, wow.
Don't forget to smile.
Smile.
Gorgeous. And we do have a question for you to repeat,
Yes.
if you will, how to
Oh,
finish
sure.
or tie off the
Sure.
ending.
Sure, repeat the ending. Okay, let me just untie my knot so I can redo that one for you. And then before you folks go, we have a quick little survey if you folks wouldn't mind doing. Okay, so how to end the lei one more time. I'm going to show you folks one more time how to do it if you didn't catch it the last time. So what you want to do with this tail, that your extra tail, is you're going to make a loop on the right side, since I'm right-handed and this is what I've been winding. Going to make a loop and you're going to double back underneath with the tail on one end. Okay, so all you did was just bend the raffia back in the opposite direction underneath your lei. Okay, so on one end you have sticking out is a loop, and on one end you have a tail. And all you're gonna do is you're gonna take the loop, you're not putting anything through the loop, but you're gonna use it as a string, and you're gonna tie it. You're gonna tie one end to the next. It's pretty simple to end. It's way easier than merging. You're gonna tie it and then you're gonna double tie it. And then cut your ends off to make it. And all of this is being recorded, by the way. So definitely, if you have a question and you want to watch it again after this, feel free to watch it again after this on how to end it. But essentially, you're just tying the ends, together. Okay, so with that, before we adjourn, I'll still stay on the line with you folks, whoever wants to stay on the line, but we were wondering if you folks wouldn't mind doing a quick survey for us. This is going to help us to improve things for the future. And it will help us to schedule more lay workshops.
And I am going to include a link to some virtual Zoom backgrounds that you can download and use as a gift from us. And I need to send it to everybody. Here we go.
Okay, so the one that came from Amber, if you click on that, it should send you to a survey. If you folks wouldn't mind taking a quick minute to do a survey for us, that would really help us out into improving our workshops for the future. So hopefully you folks can make more workshops with us. And I'm not going to be off the line yet, so don't worry. I'll still be here if you folks want to continue to the end or something. I'll be on here for at least another, half an hour or so. So feel free to stay with me if you'd like to. If you folks wouldn't mind just doing a quick survey. And hopefully you folks learned something new today or got to practice a skill that you learned in the past.
Amber, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Any tricks for the little ants that are always in plumeria blossoms?
Oh, I know. What I like to do when I have gardenias with bugs is I just put a little bit of Dawn in a dish with water, and I just kind of dunk the blossoms in there, and it kind of helps to wash them off a little. That's what I do
So
with my
before
gardenias. Yes,
you do that before.
Mhm.
Oh darn. Too late. I've already made my lay. Maybe if I put it in the refrigerator.
Yeah, maybe if you put it in the refrigerator. So thank you folks very much for doing this survey for us.
Hoku, yay. She says she thinks